Good day to our fellow future criminologists. Today, we're here to share new knowledge. We are going to discuss the CITES, or also known as the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Wild Flora.
Good day everyone, my name is Alan Pingul, and today we are going to discuss about CITES and where it came from, who made the CITES, how CITES was made, and when it was published. We are also going to talk about the purpose of CITES and terminology of the state law, the prohibited acts and its penalties.
Good day everyone, my name is Carl Elord Laksamana. Today I will discuss the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, or also known as the CITES. It is an international agreement that aims to ensure that international trade in wild animals and plants does not threaten their survival. The convention seeks to balance the need for wildlife trade with the necessity of conserving biodiversity. It was established in 1973 and is considered one of the most important international frameworks in wildlife conservation. CITES is vital in protecting endangered species from unsustainable exploitation and trade.
Good day everyone, my name is Aldrin Malyari. Now we are going to give you some background about CITES. It was created in response to growing concern about the unsustainable exploitation of wild fauna and wild flora. Often driven by the demands of international trade, many species were being threatened with extinction due to hunting, poaching, and trade in their body parts, such as ivory, furs, and medicinal plants. These are the key milestones in the history of CITES. In 1973, the convention was signed at a meeting in Washington, D.C. by 80 countries. In 1975, CITES officially entered into force after enough nations ratified the agreement. Over time, it has expanded, and as of today, 183 countries as of 2025 are members, making it one of the largest international agreements in terms of participation.
There are the purpose and goal of CITES. The primary goal of CITES is to ensure that international trade does not threaten the survival of species in the wild. Specifically, CITES aims to regulate trade in endangered species. CITES work to prevent exploitation of species by regulating trade through a pyramid system, protect biodiversity by controlling trade in species at risk of extinction. CITES help conserve the overall biodiversity of ecosystem. Ensure sustainable use. CITES acknowledge that some species can be used sustainably or managed properly, and it support the sustainable trade of these species. Facilitate international cooperation. Since wildlife trade crosses borders, CITES emphasize the importance of cooperation among the countries of the protection of endangered species.
These are the structure and operation of CITES. CITES operates through a series of regulations and guidelines that are implemented by its member countries. The structure of CITES includes the COP, or the Conference of the Parties. This is the decision-making body of CITES. It meets every few years to review the implementation of the convention, adopt amendments, and make decisions about which species should be listed under its protection. And the next is the Secretariat. The Secretariat is responsible for the administration of the convention and is based in Geneva, Switzerland. It provides support to parties and helps coordinate activities and communications. Next is the Animals and Plants Committees. These committees are responsible for advising the COP on scientific matters related to the trade of species and monitoring compliance with the CITES provisions. Next is the National Authorities. Each CITES member country has designated management and scientific authorities that ensure the implementation of CITES at the national level. These authorities are responsible for issuing permits for trade and monitoring compliance.
And now, I'm going to discuss the listing system of CITES. Species protected by CITES are categorized into three appendices based on the degree of protection they need. Appendix 1. Species that are threatened with extinction and are prohibited from international trade unless under exceptional circumstances for scientific purposes. Example, the Asian elephant and Amur leopard. Ang ibig sabihin lamang nito ay ito yung mga species na lubhang nanganganib. Ito ang listahan ng mga hayop at halaman na malapit ng maubos o ma-extinct sa ligaw na kalikasan. Ipinagbabawal ang kanilang international na kalakalan maliban na lamang kung ito ay para sa napakalagang layunin tulad ng scientific purposes at kinakailangan ang maigpit na permiso mula sa parehong nag-export at tumatanggap na bansa. The next one is the Appendix 2, species that are not immediately threatened with extinction but could become so if trade is not regulated. Trade is allowed under strict conditions. Example, the African gray parrot and sea turtles. Ang ibig sabihin lamang nito ay ito ang mga species na hindi pa nanganganib pero maaaring manganib kung walang regulasyon. Pinapayagan ang kontroladong kalakalan pero ito ay maingat na sinusubaybayan upang matiyak na hindi maapektuhan ang kanilang populasyon sa kalikasan. Kinakailangan ang export permit ngunit hindi kailangan ng import permit maliban kung inihingi ng tumatanggap na bansa. The last one is Appendix 3, species that are protected in at least one country and that country has requested cites assistance in regulating trade. Example, the Turkish spiny-tailed lizard. Ang mga species na to, ito yung protektado ng isang bansa at humihingi ng tulong mula sa CITES. Ang mga species sa listahan nito ay hindi agad nanganganib, ngunit ang isang bansa ay nag-request ng tulong sa pag-regulate ng kanilang kalakalan. Kinakailangan ang mga dokumento tulad ng Certificate of Origin o Export Permit, depende kung saan galing ang mga species.
And now, we are going to talk about the definition of terms. First is the CITES. It is an international agreement between governments aimed at ensuring that international trade in wild animals and plants does not threaten their survival. Second is the wild fauna and flora. It refers to wild animals and plants, including their parts or derivatives. For example, skins, bones, seeds, and timber. Third is the endangered species, species that are serious risk of extinction in the wild due to overexploitation, habitat loss, or illegal trade. And number 4 is the trade. It includes import, export, re-export, and introduction from the sea of specimens of species listed under the CITES appendices. Fifth is the export permit. It is a legal document issued by an exporting country that allows the export of CITES listed species. Number 6 is the import permit. It is a legal document required in some cases, especially for Appendix 1 species, to allow the importation of a specimen into a country. Number 7 is the re-export, the export of a specimen that was previously imported. Next, number 8 is the parties. These are the countries that have agreed to and signed the CITES Treaty. These countries implement CITES regulation within their jurisdictions. Number 9 is the Secretariat, the administrative body of CITES that supports implementation facilities, communication between parties, and organizes meetings. Lastly, number 10 is the Conference of the Parties or the COP. It is a regular meetings of the CITES member countries where they review and update species listings and implementation strategies.
Now we're going to tackle the implementation of CITES. For trading species, listed under CITES to be a legal, certain regulation must be followed. Permit and certificate international trade required permit, which are issued by the country of origin, the country of destination, or any country involved in the trade process. Trade monitoring. Member countries are responsible for monitoring and reporting trade in CITES listed species. This ensures that trade does not exceed sustainable level. penalties, and enforcement. Violating sites regulation can result in severe penalties, including fines and trade sanction. National authorities work together to enforce this law through border control, custom regulation, and international cooperation.
The next one that I'm going to discuss are the prohibited acts under sites or RA 9147. Hunting, collecting, or killing of wildlife, especially those listed in the site's appendices, without proper permits. The next one is trading, selling, or transporting endangered species locally or internationally without proper authorization. Next is the importing or exporting wild species, including their parts or byproducts, without site's permits. The next one is destroying or disrupting wildlife habitats, especially of threatened or endangered species. The next one is possession of endangered species without proper documentation. And the last one is falsifying or using fake permits or documents related to wildlife trade. Fines and penalties based on RA 9147 for the Philippines. For killing or destroying wildlife, critically endangered species, fine 100,000 to 1 million pesos. Imprisonment 6 years to 12 years. Endangered species, fine 50,000 pesos to 500,000 pesos. Imprisonment 4 years to 8 years. Vulnerable species, fine 10,000 pesos to 100,000 pesos. Imprisonment 2 years to 4 years. For illegal trade or transport, fine 5,000 pesos to 300,000 pesos depending on the species. Imprisonment up to 4 years. For falsification of documents, fine 50,000 pesos to 100,000 pesos. Imprisonment up to 4 years. And that's all for today. Thank you for listening, and we hope that we give you some new knowledge.